Welcome back to the channel. Make yourself at home, make yourself comfortable. And today we are going to be talking about that final series and the future of the NBA. Before we even get into it, let's just put an F in the chat for this postseason. It was an amazing postseason, so many exciting moments in every single round, only to be marred by injury, an injury-plagued finals. For one team, the injuries were really on one side, but even without those injuries, right, the consensus was Lakers in 5, Lakers in 4, maybe Lakers in 6. But the Heat has built their postseason run on upsetting those consensus. But anyways, yeah, it's whatever. But on this channel, we talk about the big picture, right? And the big picture that I'm getting from all of this, from this whole postseason run, is Anthony Davis and the end of small ball. Anthony Davis is showing the limits a small ball system can garner, right? If you don't have it, there's no advantage to going small when the opposing team's big man can do everything your guards can do, but better. There's no reason to. There's no point. Davis is the end of the small ball revolution, a revolution that was really started with the ascension of the Warriors, their depth lineup around 2015. Then they even increased that depth lineup with KD and stuff like that. The ultimate extension of this small ball idea, this small ball system, was this year Houston's micro ball, where they did not play anyone over 6'8", 6'7", and they got gentlemen swept by the Lakers, man. Mike D'Antoni lost. He was asked, can micro ball be successful in the playoffs? And he responded, ask the Lakers. That's what they beat us with. And I feel bad for him because Anthony Davis, it's true that they did bench JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard, right? Those old days top of centers, they weren't working against small micro ball. But Anthony Davis is 6'10", 250, and has a 7'6" wingspan. He played at the 5. He is not small. That lineup was not a small lineup. It was a very agile lineup because Davis was a 7-footer who plays like a guard on both ends of the floor. He was a guard in his high school days before he hit that growth spurt, right? I think I remember that. The best matchups for someone like Davis are players who are just as big, just as fast, and just as skilled. And that's the problem. There's not many players like that in the NBA. The Blazers found that out, the Rockets found that out, and the Nuggets found that out. All with a gentleman's touch in 5 games. The Heat are probably on that same trajectory even without the injuries. Davis has been on a historic tear through the playoffs, averaging 29 points on 56% shooting with 9 rebounds, almost 4 assists, 1.3 blocks, and 1 steal a game. Now, the only other players to reach those marks in a postseason run are Kareem and LeBron. Only others. The most impressive part of AD's performance in this postseason has been the variety of opponents he has beaten. He dominated micro ball Rockets that put PJ Tucker, he's 6'5", 245 on him, but they still play tons of team defense to try to choke him out of the lane. And then he also played a massive Nuggets team built around another elite 7-footer in Jokic. But a caveat with that is as well, Jokic is a below average defender himself. They had nobody to guard Davis, and that's the crux. Even if you have someone as tall as Davis, are they as agile? Are they as fast? Are they as skilled? Even if you put a bunch of small, agile guys, they're not as big. They're not as strong, right? That's the crux of Davis. The Heat started game 1 with the 6'6" Jay Crowder on Davis. That's a matchup they have to change. That's not working. It's not just that Davis is bigger than him, right? Miami can live with bigger players trying to bully Crowder. He's a very good post defender. The problem is that AD is faster than him and has ability to make plays off the dribble from the 3-point line. It makes him an impossible matchup. There's not much Crowder can do when David puts his head and goes down to the rim. I'm gonna put the clip I'm specifically talking about up there. The Heat need to hope that Bam Adebayo, their best front court defender, can play on Friday. He has some type of knock, I'm not sure. It's tough. They didn't put Bam on Davis right away. In fact, I only think he played him on 3 of his 21 shot attempts or something like that. They wanted to keep him away. They wanted to keep him closer to the rim on defense and prevent him from getting an early foul trouble, right? But they have no one else with a fighting chance of stopping AD. Bam has been doing a lot of the things Davis has done on the other side of the playoff bracket, right? Miami changed its identity when it downside with Bam at the 5. They benched Leonard and put 4 perimeter players around Bam. The difference is Bam, who's 6'9", is closer to the traditional definition of small ball than Davis is. He is an elite athlete with toughness and basketball IQ to hold up in the post against bigger guys like Lopez, but Davis is a whole different beast. He's a whole different beast. Bam didn't guard him much in game 1, but the times that he did guard him, there were so much difficulties. And these are the plays that separate Davis from Giannis. This is why Davis is the best big man in the NBA. I'm telling you right here, right now, if you made it to this part of the video. Davis can face up against smaller defenders and shoot over them. There's no such thing as a wall. You can't wall off Davis. You have to play him 1v1. You can't do team defense, but you can't do what the Heat did with Giannis. Making a wall, knowing he can't shoot, preventing him from stepping foot in the paint. You can't do this with Davis. He'll just shoot right over. Or he'll step back and shoot right over. His ability to score at will on almost any defender is why the Lakers have so much success going quote-unquote small in the playoffs. Because when they do play Davis at the 5, it does look like they're going small. Only possible way to stop Davis is to send help and make him get the ball up. That's why the most encouraging development for the Lakers in the playoffs is AD's growth as a passer. He's averaging more than twice as many assists than in his first 2 postseasons with the Pelicans. Now, this has a lot to do with their surrounding cast as well, with LeBron on the court, sucking a lot of gravity. Then you have people like playoff Rondo actually draining an elite clips from 3. I mean, all that helps for sure. But he's still making better reads. He's still more comfortable acting as the point guard in half-court sets. Very rarely, but he still does that. And here's a new caveat. The Lakers are undefeated in this postseason when AD gets 2 assists. And that's the scary part. In no area is anyone saying, oh, AD is a pretty good passer, right? Passing is one of his best attributes. Unlike LeBron, whose passing's always probably been one of his best attributes, AD has tons of room to grow in that department. I mean, and the reason the Nuggets gave the Lakers the most problems out of anyone else in the playoffs is because they play more conventionally, right? Jokic is far better against AD than Westbrook was, than Covington was, than Tucker was. On the offensive side, Jokic was like, 11 for 19 in the 40 possessions against him. This forced the Lakers to keep Howard on Jokic, who really played mind games. He fouled him, he pushed him a lot. It really got in Jokic's head, got him in early foul trouble and stuff like that. But that's where AD's versatility comes in play. His plan A can be being the 5 on offense, but he can still win playing the 4. The ideal matchup for someone like Davis is someone who can score like Jokic, create from the post like Jokic, but also being tall and big enough to guard him on the other end. There's a reason that in his first 2 postseason extravaganzas, right? Those losses came against the Warriors. Yeah, they had the greatest team of all time, but more importantly for this video, they featured 2-way frontcourt players in Draymond and Kevin Durant. AD's rise, AD's existence, AD's play in this postseason have quadrupled their stock. And people like, a lot of people saying Draymond doesn't exert the max, blah, blah, blah. The Warriors can win without him. Draymond does a lot of stuff, man. And these are one of the stuff. Draymond on 80 could work for the Warriors. He's integral for a championship. The small ball isn't dead, but it can get imploded when you come across unicorns like this. Small ball, like we just said, small ball isn't dead, but players like Davis can totally disrupt it. And for teams to want to contend against this Lakers team for the next 2 to 3 years, or against whoever else comes out of this, maybe Bam turns into the player AD is, but You need to get a player like AD, man.